Anyone that is willing to stick their neck on the line and walk down the street in the truest version of who they are, to me, is an absolute hero. Hi, models.com. My name's Anthony Turner, and I'm coming to you from Paris Fashion Week. I mean, for me, it's all about telling a story. A lot of the hair that I do is quite poetic. I want to say quite ghost-like. You know, it's not just about the hardcore things and the kind of spikes and the fireworks and all of that. For me, pieces of hair across the face and a hair touching a lip, you know, that sort of very gentle sort of poeticness. That, for me, those little sort of gestures are so important. So the things that shaped my creative eye growing up, very much that tale as old as time. It was very much sort of coming of age, figuring out who I was, growing up gay in a small conservative town. At the time I was reading books and sort of understanding where my sort of creative mentality fit in. I remember reading this book called The Wasp Factory by Ian Banks, and I think for me that was a really big turning point. It deals a lot with gender identity, it deals a lot with dark humour. It really sort of made me understand that I could have this somewhat spooky and darker mentality and also use it to my advantage in terms of creativity. So because I'd always been very interested by that alternative world, the transition from this sort of bratty little kid holding a hairdryer, not wanting to do anything, to then becoming extremely passionate about hair happened. Really, it was like this kind of higher power moment where the salon wasn't busy one day and I was sitting, flicking through magazines as I always did because I was obsessed with information. And I saw this Alexander McQueen show, VOSS, in ID magazine, and that for me was the turning point where I thought, first of all, who the hell is this? And second of all, how do I get there? Moving to London and being in London wasn't just sort of looking at the magazines anymore, it was being in those, it was being in it. I was in it, I was in the thick of it. For me, it was a really crucial time. It was a really crucial time because then I began to really sort of hone in everything that I'd learned in the north of England, and I began to sort of really manipulate it with this new sort of fashion sense that I'd got. I met some really incredible people, but I think the most important person that I met during that period was actually Guido. That transition between assisting and then deciding to go on my own, it's terrifying. You're taking a huge leap and you don't know whether it's going to work or not. I think it was Interview magazine back in the day when Fabian Baron, Carl Templer, they were just starting out and they were using a lot of kind of younger photographers, sometimes in younger hair and makeup. And I got the opportunity to work for Interview magazine and I actually did a cover with Carey Mulligan. That's when things started to change. The next thing I knew, I got signed by an agency and I was sort of flying. If a magazine asks me to create a beauty story, for example, one of the key things that I always find really important is that I tend to street cast. So I will use a lot of the kids that inspire me from, you know, across many different communities. I think the thing that ties them all in together, you know, like beautiful queer community, club kid community, goth community, for me to sort of put them on a platform and to celebrate them, I wanna tell them that they're beautiful. Be your authentic freak. Like, that to me is far more interesting.